What's going on, guys? I thought this would be a good topic to talk about real quick. They tell a lot of young guys that to not get married, and I wanted to give my input on this right quick. You know, I know they tell a lot of young dudes don't get married. But you know, this is my take on it. It's one thing to be a dude and you don't want to get married. You may not want to get married. Some dudes don't want to get married. And that's a personal choice that they've made. But you got some dudes, they can't. You got some dudes they can't get married if they wanted to. You know, it's different. If you're making a conscious decision that you don't want to be a married man. If you don't want to be a married man, that's fine. But some dudes couldn't be a married man if they wanted to be one, man. Just think about how bad that is. That you got dudes that couldn't be a married man if they wanted to be one. Just think about how sad that is. That's why I say life is rough. You know, my take, I don't think marriage is a bad thing. I know they tell a lot of young dudes that marriage is a bad thing, you know, but I don't think marriage is a bad thing. Um, because when you're married, like my dad was telling me, the less taxes you have to pay when you're married. Um, there are perks, I mean, you get your retirement when you get up in age, you know, you get your retirement and you get your partner's retirement. So, there are perks, to being a married man. It's not necessarily a bad thing being a married man. Um, so I would never totally bash being a married man. It's just that some guys will never be able to get the opportunity of being a married man because they're not desirable. That's the sad part about this situation. Um, you know, um, I notice a lot of guys speak against being married nowadays, and I understand to an extent because marriage is not in favor of the man; it's in favor of the woman. You get a divorce, unless you signed a prenup, uh, the woman is gonna get half. She gonna get half of your stuff. If you get married. Um, it's just unfortunate, and I truly feel that marriage is for desirable men too. I feel like if you a dude who's never had women wanting to throw that pussy at you, uh, I don't think I don't think marriage is for those. It's for men who are undesirable. You know, I think you need to be a desirable man. If you're not a desirable man, um, in my personal opinion, I definitely don't think you need to be getting married. You know, um, because I just don't feel it's gonna end well for you. I'm pretty sure you guys agree with this as well. But it's one thing to not get married because that's your personal decision. But some dudes don't have no choice in the matter. That's what makes it so sad. You know, when you're one of those dudes that you know, you don't even have a choice in the matter. Even if you wanted to be a married man, you couldn't do it because it's just not in the cards for you. You just don't have that option, and it's sad. Um, I'm telling you, some people really got it bad out here, and me personally, I wouldn't encourage no dude to get married unless you're in a good financial space. You know, make sure you straight before you decide to get married. You don't want to get married to a woman and you don't have your stuff in order. You know, you definitely don't want to do that, because that's not going to end well for you. Getting married to a woman and you don't even have your life together, you know. Um, but I truly believe that marriage is for desirable men. I feel like if you a dude that's been crapped on your whole life, you know, if you're not a desirable man, you don't need to be getting married at all, you know. Because one thing I do know about women, women like promiscuous men. Women like a man that slept around. They love that, you know. Women love a man who live a promiscuous lifestyle. You know, no woman really wants a man that, you know, hasn't had, you know, his sausage waxed. You know, they don't want that, you know. Women love promiscuity, you know, and they like a man that's experienced, you know, a man that's been around the block a couple of times, done screwed a lot of chicks, you know, because that shows that you have value as a man. You know, don't no woman want no man who hasn't slept around and been around the block. That's why I say marriage, unfortunately, is just not in the cards for certain men. And I understand why they're telling a lot of guys to not get married. I do. But, you know, men in my age range, men in their 30s, we should already be married. If you're a man that's in your 30s and 40s, you should already be married. You know, I believe, you know, when I see guys making videos telling young men to not get married, they're mainly targeting young men in their 20s. You know, I believe like early 20s. You know, they not targeting men in my age range, because men that's 30 something years old, you know, should already have a wife and kids. So, you know, if you a man that's, you know, 30 something years old, 40 something years old, you should already be married, you know. But I notice I see a lot of content of guys talking about they're not gonna be married, you know, they're not having a wife, they're not having kids. I see a lot of guys talking about this. And I guess, you know, I understand, but I guess certain dudes have their personal reasons to why they're never getting married, but some dudes don't have no choice in the matter. They couldn't be married if they wanted to, you know? And the reason why they couldn't be married if they wanted to, because they not desired anyway. That's what's so sad, you know? You know, it's one thing, you know, to be a man and, you know, you making that decision, but for a lot of guys, the decision is already made for them. And that's what's so sad about it all, you know? Some dudes, they've already been wrote off, so they don't have no choice in the matter. I think personally, I know a lot of guys bash marriage. I'm not against marriage. I think marriage is a great thing. You know, like my father told me, he told me the perks of being a married man, you know, how you get your retirement and your spouse's retirement. So there are perks to being a married man, but it's just something that you got to be cut out for, you know. You know, marriage is something that you got to be cut out for as a man. Every man ain't cut out for it. You know, every man they just ain't got it. They ain't got the juice, unfortunately. And some men will just have to accept that's how it's gonna be for them. You know, but I feel, you know, men who've always been desired and guys who were able to get married, those dudes are lucky. You know, you go on social media, You see certain couples getting married. You see these weddings and all that. Those type of men are lucky. But see, the thing is, when you go on social media and you see these men getting married and you see these lavish weddings, because I love those lavish, classy weddings. Those things are lovely. But when you see these type of weddings, these are not men who've been rejects their whole life. These are men who are desired. That's one thing I had to realize. When you see these men getting married, these are not men who are unwanted. These are not unwanted men. These are men who've been desired their entire lives. So that's why they're getting married. How many of you guys knew that you would never be a married man? I kind of predicted it. My teen years let me know how I was going to end up anyway. But like I stated, marriage is something you have to be eligible for. And we all know guys in our positions, we're not eligible candidates for marriage at all. You have to be a man that's desired to begin with to even consider, having a wife and kids and all of that good stuff. Marriage is not for guys who are rejects. If you're a reject, if you're an outcast, if you're a dude in a position like this, marriage is not for you. You're not a man who's gonna be married anyway. Unfortunately, it's a rough reality, I know. But that's pretty much my take on marriage. I thought this would be a good topic to talk about because I know they tell guys all the time, don't get married. And they mainly telling young men this, don't get married, But if you're a man that's around my age, you should already be married. You're a man that's 30-something years old, you should already be a married man. But, yeah, unfortunately, my take on it, I'll say this. I wouldn't tell a man not to get married. I feel like if you're a desirable man, if you are a man that's always been wanted, that's who marriage is for. Marriage is not for outcasts. Marriage is not for undesirable men. If you're a man who's unwanted, never been wanted, been treated bad all your life, marriage is definitely not for guys like us. If you're a dude in these types of positions, we all know marriage is definitely not for guys in our position. We are dudes who we at the bottom, We at the bottom. Dudes in these types of positions that we're in, we're at the bottom. So marriage is definitely not for guys like us, unfortunately. But I'll just say, just know this as a man before I sign out. It's a lovely evening, a nice little sunset, but before I sign out on this presentation, I just want to say, if you're a dude that's in a position like this, people think something wrong with you. Men who are unwanted, men who've been treated bad all their life, people think something wrong with these types of men. They really do. That's one thing I had to realize too. If you a man that's undesirable, if you a man that's not wanted, people not gonna tell you this, but they think something wrong with your behind. To be a man who's completely unwanted. But it's unfortunate. But see, the thing, what people fail to realize is, none of the guys that are in these types of positions ask to be in these positions. No dude that's undesirable to women has to be in this. It's just that some guys just ain't lucky. And I truly feel if you a man that's in this, you need to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, marriage is not for you. You're not cut out to be married. You're just not, unfortunately. Because what woman would want to marry a man who's completely undesirable? What man would want to marry men in these types of positions, men who not desired? Like I stated, women like promiscuous men. They like men who've slept around. Women like players. They like men who have options. Women like that. They like men who are desired. So, what woman would want to marry a man who's not wanted? But that's just something to think about. And this is why I say, I advise dudes that's in this, do not get married. If you're a dude that's not wanted and you never been wanted, in all honesty, you shouldn't be getting married. You know, if you're a man that's been crapped on your whole life, treated bad, if you're a man in a position like that, you really don't need to be getting married. Even though I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I feel like if you were one of the, you know, if you're a desirable man and you was able to get a wife and have a family, you one of God's chosen. But unfortunately, you know, that ain't the story for all of us. But you guys have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Have a good one.